Hello, my crafty peeps. Love to you all. This card is so cute. It's like, I don't know, a fun snowflake, but modern? I don't know. Anyways, you'll just have to see. So here I am cutting all my papers. I love that chopping sound. And now it is time for the inking. I love inky backgrounds. So I'm using Distress Oxide inks. And here I am just picking out my colors, figuring out what I want to use. And I wanted to do like blues and purples. I really love the way that those blend together. And if you want a good blended background, use the Distress inks, the oxides especially. Oxides blend like butter. So here I am just getting my base layer down, kind of figuring out what colors I want to go where I want it darker, where I want it lighter, and doing the basic background blend. And then I bring it all together at the end and it looks nice and smooth, because at first it looked kind of choppy and chunky. Trust the process. It'll all work out in the end. I really love how smooth this is. Oh, so beautiful. Those blues and that purple. Oh my heck. Y'all, look how gorgeous that is. It took a lot of blending time, but it was worth it. And usually I would spray that down and use a blank piece of paper and kind of pat it on that extra color. And that would give me a fun marbleized background. But for the video, I just wiped it off. And I'm really sad about that. Okay, so this stuff is magic in a bottle. This is called Distress Micro Glaze. So you can see the difference there. What it does is it removes the oxidation. It removes the chalky and like the filmy look. And it brings out the natural undertones, the natural colors in there. And it makes it a little glossy, but it also seals it in, so it's no longer water reactive. So if you were to squirt it, it would just bead off instead of soak into the paper. And I just absolutely love using that on my oxide blends because each color individually pops out. And it's just, it's a miracle. Distress Microglaze, love it. And so those snowflakes are from scrapbook.com and they are gorgeous. So I picked out that one because I thought it would just be the perfect size for the card that I'm doing and the idea that I have. I just got to get all those little teeny tiny papers out of my die cut. I have a tool for that, but I never use it. I just poke it out. It's more fun. And then if you add a vellum layer to a soft shape, like a snowflake or like a heart or something, it just gives it so much depth and dimension and character. It brings it to life and it looks so pretty and it blends in while making it stand out. I don't know if you'll understand what I'm trying to say, but if you're a crafter, you'll know. And once this video is done, you'll understand. And so this, I needed to make it 3D. So I have this really cool 3D embossing folder from Tim Holtz and Sizzix. And I just squirted the back of the paper a little bit just to soften it up. And so it would take a deeper impression of that embossing folder and just really make that design pop off the page. How gorgeous is that? Oh my gosh. It reminds me of Frozen. Can I say that name here? Don't sue me. And then I'm using a sanding disc to sand off that very top layer. And it just brings the white of the paper out more. And it gives it character. And I wanted it more white than that because the sanding didn't work as good as I wanted to. So I'm using the Dina Wakley white splatter spray with my brayer, also from Tim Holtz. And I'm just barely tapping it on the top of the surface. So just those little raised edges become white, almost like snow or frost. And look how gorgeous that is. And I didn't want it perfect, so I like the little splotchy parts. And then the brayer is so easy to clean. You just wipe it off, and then it has little stands on the edges where you can set it down, and the brayer isn't touching the table, so it dries really easily. It's pretty cool. So do you see what I mean there with the vellum behind the snowflake? Oh, it just gives it like this magical wintry look. I love it. And then because it is dimensional, I need to use my brayer to squish down that glue. That is actually 5-inch double-sided tape. And if you are interested in where to get that, just comment on the video and I will let you know, because I cannot give you the link on this platform. But it also is in my bio if you want to go search for it. Okay, and I needed to strengthen that, so I just used a scrap piece of like cardboard that I had to give it strength. Because it is dimensional, only certain parts would be touching the glue, and now it's thick and it's sturdy, not heavy, it's sturdy, so I can glue it down to the card base without it being all bumpy and like having some parts squished down, if that makes sense. And then I'm just using twine to add some more interest, and I put it down on my card base. And then this is my note card layer that goes on the inside of the card, and I like to frame those with the matching color. It just gives it some extra oomph, just a little personality, you know, like me. And then I'm using a glue dot to hold down my twine, and then another one to hold down my snowflake. Because vellum is so see-through, you can see glue through it. But if you put a glue dot on it, you can't really see it, especially if you have another layer on top. And here is this gorgeous stamp set from Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous. And I'm going to use the Winter Wishes sentiment, and I'm going to emboss that. So I need to use my anti-static powder, and that just helps so the embossing powder doesn't stick to the paper where I don't want it to. So I'm using my embossing ink, stamping it on the paper, and then this is where the magic happens. You put on your embossing powder and you tap lightly to get the excess off. Turn on your heat tool, and then right before your eyes, it just turns into this silvery winter goodness. You see how shiny that is? And it's permanent. It won't rub off or smear. And that's just me getting the extra powder, I guess, off the table, little loose flakes. Then I just cut up the sentiment, decide which one I like the best. And of course, I've got to add some bling. Your girl loves a good sequin. And that's my sticky tool. Where did I get that? It's from Trinity Stamps. And then I'm just using some of my, oh gosh, I don't even know where I got these from. Some of my sequins to add just a little bit of bling to my winter card. And then I have to do the clear, they're not clear, they're like iridescent ones, just to make it look like snow. And boom, everything's glued on. I use glue dots and liquid glue just for extra adhesion because of all the different layers and dimension on that background piece. And then I also wanted to add some really cool, funky colored, I guess they're enamel dots, but they're more like glass beads that are cut in half. I just wanted to give a center to that snowflake. Anyways, what do you guys think of this? Is this not so adorable? It took a lot of work, but I love how it turned out. And I even embossed my sentiment. I'm so extra. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and this card, and I love you guys, and I'll be back tomorrow for another one. Love you, bye!